What's up YouTube? Barcode here, bringing you another Epic 7 video. This video is going to be about the patch that's coming up, patch 5.12. Also going to talk about the Holy Trinity nerf and what really made Holy Trinity special. If you don't know what Holy Trinity is, I'll kind of explain that. It's the biggest talk of all in-game content right now, and it's all with 3-star characters, but that is getting nerfed. But I'll tell you, it's not really a Trinity. It's more of one single person on that Holy Trinity team, and you can replace the other two with anything. And then I'm going to talk about Diene, whatever her name is. You know, the new water 5-star Soul Weaver with the attack buff and the barrier. And how to build her properly. So let's go into that. Currently, right now, I'm just farming the hunt or whatever. But anyway, so coming up in the update, which should be next week anyway, there's going to be a new labyrinth. So the new labyrinth is going to take 2 of the labyrinth tokens to use. So that is something to note out. However, because of the 2 tokens, it's going to be a lot stronger gear, and there's going to be 3 new gear sets that are included in the patch in the game, and currently that's going to be the only place to actually be able to farm them. When you defeat a boss in this new labyrinth, it's only going to be a 1-week regeneration for that boss, so you can't keep farming the boss over and over. So you can use your tokens in the normal labyrinths to get your gear. But it will regen once a week. Now, whether you'll be able to get the gear inside that same labyrinth without killing a boss, I don't know yet. I tried to read up on it, but I couldn't find anything. So, but that's okay. We'll figure out when it comes. So the new gear is 1 piece is going to be Unity, and I don't know if any of these sets are 4 pieces or 2 pieces. And I can kind of try to look and see, but it didn't really say in the patch notes. But this is the new gear. So Unity is going to be an increase the duel chance. I'm guessing that's going to be like a 2-star piece of gear to increase the chance that you're able to dual attack with someone. It didn't give specifics on percentages or anything like that. Immunity set. So this is probably needed in the game currently, because everything is just, if you're faster first turn, you win, unless you have a really super stall comp with like General Purges or something like that. But immunity is a 1-turn immunity right off the bat. So after you take your first turn, that immunity drops off. So this is going to be good for arena defenses and even arena offenses. And it's going to turn the meta around a lot. And I think it's going to be a good thing for the game. And that's what Epic 7 is trying to look for, is the future of the game. And I like that in a game and a company. They're doing really well with this game so far, so I like it. The 3rd new set is going to be Rage. So Rage is going to be an increased damage for the amount of debuffs that are on the enemy team. So this could be good for certain characters, and we'll just have to, in certain team comps, we're just going to have to figure out and try to figure out in theory craft what would be good for this kind of set. A couple other new things is 4-star characters and 5-star characters are going to get an increase in their base stats, which is awesome. And they need it, because that's why people rely on 3 stars to get them through the whole process of the game. 5-star stat increase, base stats, is going to be going up to 6%, and that's in attack, defense, and speed. 4-star stats increase is going to be 3%. So this is a good change, and I like it. It's needed, so that's good. There's also going to be a change in the Magara amount of materials used to enhance the skills of 4-star and 5-star characters. So it's going to require less. It's going to require less Magara, which is awesome, because it is a ton. And they're going to reimburse you in the mailbox once the update hits for any type of overusage of the materials that was needed. It's going to be given back to you, so that's another plus. Another great customer service type of deal, because it's not our fault they're changing the game, they are, so they should reimburse us for that. And it's for longevity of the game, which is awesome. Defense buff. So defense buff is decreasing down from 50 to 35. It's a change in 15%. I think it's definitely needed. It's going to change the meta around. It's still going to be strong. 35% defense increase is still huge. So Elson users, I wouldn't. It's a nerf, but I wouldn't consider it too much of a nerf. It's still going to be good. There is a patch scheduled because of this defense buff nerf. There's a patch scheduled in the future to decrease the pre-attack. Decrease the attack of PvE enemies anyway. So this is like an Abyss and Adventure in world difficulty for Adventure. But there is a patch scheduled for that. And then maybe even more adjustments in the future from what they said. So I do want to go into a quote about Epic 7. So Epic 7 did put out a quote about them understanding the amount of time and materials that are used into these characters that are going to get the nerf, and they feel bad about it, and they just want us to know that it's for the longevity of the game, it's for bettering the game overall. And in that note, which I've never seen any type of gacha game do this before, they're adding a recall option on these characters that are getting nerfed. The recall option is going to be Tiara, Elson, Church of the Axe, which those and Ricarus. So those 4 characters mainly. There is some others, but those 4 characters mainly are part of the Holy Trinity, or the Quad Squad, whatever you want to call them. Especially Tiara, Elson, and Ricarus, that is the Holy Trinity comp, and so they are all getting nerfs. They're not stating exactly what the nerfs are yet, but I'm sure one of them is the defense buff. I'm sure Tiara is just too strong. Her combat readiness skill is probably going to get nerfed, and then Ricarus, I don't know for sure. Maybe it's the skill cooldown. Maybe it's one of the debuffs that he does, because being able to strip, guaranteed anyway, and armor break, and he's just very strong. So those 3 are going to get nerfed. The Church, which is a Moonlight summon, Church of the Axe, he's getting a nerf as well. I'm sure it has something to do with his ultimate skill and the defense break being 2 turns, and doing pretty decent damage. I'm sure the effect chance on that might get nerfed or something like that. So that's on that. Muchacha is getting a nerf and is also going to be able to be recalled. And then a couple other characters that have been nerfed in the past, which is Robbie, Kiris. They're getting a recall as well. It's just a recall option. You're pretty much going to get all your materials back. It says promotion ingredients all back, awakening mats all back once you do this recall. The one thing I don't think we will get is the stamina that was actually used to level these champions up. That would be my main complaint about it, is all the time and stamina used, sky stones, refreshing energy, stuff like that, that's getting recalled. I don't know if we get that back. It didn't state anything about it in the patch notes, so but other than that, we also have a free gear removal. So free gear removal will be on the update next week, which is awesome. I got into a conversation about somebody about free gear removal, asking if this game has ever done it, and they said no in Discord, and that I'm too used to other games like Summoners War or Dungeon Hunter Champions being able to do that, and they felt like they were superior. But guess what? Free gear removal on the update day, so that's awesome. I don't know how long it's going to be, probably for 24 hours or who knows. But there's also going to be a new challenge. So the new challenge is going to be called Archdemon's Forces. They're also implementing the climax to the story of Eulogy of a Saint. So we'll finally be able to get past stage, was it 18 or 19 or whatever the case is. And then there's going to be new artifacts, new Moonlight summons, which is awesome. Specialty changes, and then some minor bug fixes. So overall the update is awesome, and I am very excited to see what the changes are. I really want to see the updates to the new characters because they are definitely too strong. And that's what I want to talk about next, is the Holy Trinity. So the Holy Trinity is a 3-man comp that pretty much end-game players, mid-game players, whatever, have been focusing on. Even early game players now have been focusing on it. That was pretty much showcased on the Korean server. And those 3 Holy Trinity characters are Tyria, however you want to pronounce it, you know me, Elson, and Ricarus. So the reason that these 3 are so good together is, you know, Tiara has an armor break, it has a lower hit chance, it has a team combat readiness of 10%, which is huge if you make her speedy, and it's just huge. Your team constantly gets turns and combat readiness. Then there's Elson, who has, you know, the attack buff, defense buff, on a low skill cooldown, I would say, in general. An AoE heal that does okay heals, not too much, but so pretty good, I would say, and a lower attack on his basic skill. So a variety of different things that those 2 characters have. And then you add Ricarus. So Ricarus has an AoE strip. He has the armor break as well, which is on a lower chance. And then he has team speed and a team heal over time. And then also lowers skill cooldowns on that same skill by 1. So those 3, and then you know, you just add 1 more person. You know, you can just filter in that 4th person. A lot of people have been doing the Axe God or whatever because he's very strong too and good to focus on. So those 3 plus 1 can pretty much do all the content in the game, depending on your gear and 6-starring them, etc. So with these 3-star characters, mind you, they're all 3-star. Epic 7 felt the need to nerf them, and I agree. And they also increased, like I said before, the base stats of 4-star and 5-star characters, which is needed as well, because that's why people are relying on 3-star characters to get done what 4 and 5-star characters should be able to do too. So it's definitely needed for sure. But I want to talk about who really shined in the Holy Trinity, and it hopefully doesn't get nerfed too much, because I like his general concept in a whole, and that is Ricarus. So I think the main person that a whole Trinity that makes it work so good is Ricarus. The reason being is, so Ricarus has an AoE strip, and having a strip on your team is important. It's not on every single floor, but it's still very important. And this is on a 3-turn cooldown, which he lowers his own cooldown after he uses his 2nd skill. So he'll have a strip up every 2 turns, which is pretty amazing. And then making him fast and speedy is just so good. If you raise this all the way up to, it's 100% strip, depending on your effectiveness and the enemy's resistance. So just so good. I mean, Ricarus is like your Bella from Summoner's War, or your Xenia from Dungeon Hunter Champions, whatever the case may be, whatever floats your boat in what game. But yeah, just so good. And his 2nd skill, speed up on your whole team, heal over time, and decreasing the skill cooldowns. And the first one is decreasing defense. So these 3 skills combined can be matched up with any other 2 characters to make it huge. I mean, yes, the defense buff was huge on Elson, which makes it very strong, but that's getting nerfed too. But there is other people to replace Elson, especially when you add a 4th character into the game. It's just, team comp is definitely important, but Ricarus is definitely the main of the 3 that made that Holy Trinity comp so strong. I mean, you can replace Elson with you know, like Diene or whatever, and have somebody else with a defense buff, but you know, a lower attack, there's just other people you can choose. I mean, for example, just the first person that comes off the mind, yes, she's a Moonlight summon, but it's Requiemroar. So I mean, Requiemroar, she also has a defense down, by the way. And when you awaken this third skill, she gets combat readiness, so even cooler. And then she has a decreased attack on the first turn. But then if you add as a third person, maybe if you pull Diene or whatever the case may be, you know, she increases attack and critical hit resistance for your whole team. Now it's not defense buff, but it's critical hit resistance, so it'll resist the possibility of getting a critical hit on your team. And she has a barrier, so even better. So that's, you know, it's more supportive defensive buffs. And I'll talk about Diene in a minute because I want to talk about an awesome build that I have for her that works for me pretty good. But then like Tiara, for example, was the third Trinity. You know, she has a defense down, which does go up to 100%, 90% anyway. Nope, 100%, yes. When you completely skill her up, which is awesome. Okay, the combat readiness and the decreased hit chance. Now you can bring other characters for defense down. You can bring other characters for a defense hit chance. But what you can't bring in one solid character over any of them is Requiemroar, a defense down, speed up, heal over time, skill cooldown decrease, and a dispel. So even though it was a Holy Trinity, Requiemroar was the god of the team, in my opinion. So hopefully the nerf on Requiemroar isn't too strong. I'm thinking maybe, you know, the dispel might go up a turn, because maybe the skill cooldown will be taken away. Who knows? You know, that's up to Epic 7 to decide that. But Requiemroar is definitely a god. So I'm going to talk about Diene real quick. So this will be my last thing on the video. So Diene, now she's very strong, and with an artifact, she makes her even stronger. So she has, like I said, the attack up to all team, critical hit resistance to all team, a barrier for all team that's proportionate to the target's max health, and then a self-combat readiness. Okay, so the thing about her is, why I like her is her base speed is a little bit faster than others. I think it's 99. Then like for like Elson, for example, when people are using Elson, it's 94. So it's 5 extra speed, and speed is king, so it's good. Now with the immunity set coming out, you know, speed might not matter as much unless they have an AoE stripper, which I want to Bazaar, I think, is going to increase in the meta just because of his last skill, his strip and block buffs. Anyway, so, you know, strippers and cleansers are going to be huge coming up, I can guarantee that. So Diene, this artifact right here, MAGARAHA'S tomb, okay? I have 2 of them now, which I put the other one on Angelica, which is huge. I love this so much. It's awesome for Soul Weavers. Increases the caster's combat readiness by blank %, depends on how high up you level it, when using a skill that does not attack enemies. So so that means heals, barriers, nothing that hits the enemy. Your combat readiness will increase by however you got it leveled up to. Currently mine's artifact level 5, 21%. Okay, so that's awesome. Now you add this 21% to what she already does. She increases her self-combat readiness by 50%. So make her super fast. She increases her own combat readiness by 50, and then you add another 21% to that, and she's going to be taking a turn really fast, really quick, using her barrier, which also lowers down her cooldown of the attack buff because it's just 1 extra turn being used. And then she has the self-combat readiness on her first skill. So you know, that doesn't activate the artifact, but this combo for herself of using this skill and then almost coming back to 100% combat readiness is huge, and I think that's the best way to build her and the best artifact to use on her. There might be some others, but I think this, depending on the content that you're doing, is huge, because putting that barrier on for your team, just makes it that much more. Now if you add combat readiness to your team, stuff like that, it's just even better. So I still need to work on her gear because I just pulled her, just leveling up currently, but definitely someone you should build, especially with the Epson nerf of the defense buff. And whatever else, I think there's going to be something else nerfed on him too. It's not just the defense buff. It's probably going to be like skill cooldowns or whatever case may be. But so yeah, that's what I want to talk about today. Thanks for tuning in, and make sure to subscribe and like video, comment down below for any criticism. Check me out on Twitch, Barcode, and I will talk to you in the next video. Peace.